So I'm Allison Peterson, and tonight we are doing Cast a Vision for Coaching with this tiny little book study that we have going on. And I'm so excited to get started with this topic for you tonight because it's going to be amazing. We have so much to talk about how you are going to create clarity as a coach. So that's what Cast a Vision for Coaching is all about. And I'm so glad you've come to join me tonight. So hello, hello, hello. Welcome to everyone who is out there. So, oh, hey, Amy B. and Mari. It's great to see you. Hey, Casey. Hey, everybody. Hey, Ingrid. It's really just so great for us to connect. I love to do this as a part of the New to Coaching group. It's one of my favorite things that we do. And so I'll know that a lot of you out there are new members to the New to Coaching group, like you've joined maybe in the past month. So if you're a new member, definitely drop me a hashtag new member, because that helps me get to know you a little bit more. I usually try to connect with you when you come into the group, but drop me a hashtag new member. You are especially welcome tonight. So let me introduce a little bit more about the New to Coaching group, and I'll lead us into what we're doing tonight with our Making Vision Stick book study. So the New to Coaching group is something that started from my heart about over 2 years ago now, when I was transitioning from one school to another as a new coach. And I had been out of the classroom for several years, I think 6 years at that point. But I was moving to a new school. And so I kind of felt like a new coach all over again. And I was like, well, I think me and some other new coaches need to get together. So I started the New to Coaching group. And since then, we have grown to almost 4,000 members, friends. The numbers are climbing every day. We have so many new coaches who are coming into the group. And it's an amazing testament to what is going on right now in education, is so many of you are being hired as coaches. You're being asked to step out of the classroom and move into coaching as a support role for teachers, which is an amazing gift for them. And then so many of you have told me that you're starting brand new programs, like coaching is being added. It wasn't there before, and you are stepping into an environment where you were starting the coaching program. So it's really an amazing testament to what's going on out there and how coaching is really starting to catch on, that you're all coming into the group and you're all finding your way and you're all getting hired and moved into. So what we do here in the group is help you transition from classroom to coaching, especially right now as it's the beginning of the school year and some of you are coming straight out of the classroom and trying to step into coaching, and there's a whole bunch of unknowns for you. And I really try to provide you some clarity, some steps, some things that can help you along the way. So I like to do these Facebook Lives. Often I like to do something like a book study so that we can kind of dive in deeper to these things. So I'm so glad you're here and I am so thankful. All right, so let's talk about the book. Friends, this is my 8th year out of the classroom. When I first transitioned into coaching, I actually, Andy Stanley was actually the pastor of the church that I went to. I learned from him this idea of vision casting early on in my coaching. And it absolutely transformed what I was doing, because I realized very quickly that nobody understood what my role was or what I was supposed to be doing as a coach. And when I understood Andy Stanley's model of the 5 steps for vision casting and I started implementing them, I mean, I would just have to say it was like revolutionary how everything started to change and doors started opening up for coaching for me. So I knew that this conversation that we should have about this book could really open doors for you and get you excited about the steps that you can do to help create clarity around your role. And so I wanted us to have the book as an anchor point. So for those of you who have the book or grabbed it, that's awesome. If you didn't, I want you to know you don't have to have read it to join us tonight, and know that there's actually a free video series. So all 5 of these pieces that he's going to talk through in this book are actually each individual video in a video series that I have linked. So if you register for this little 3-part, we're doing 3-part workshop on this 3-part book study. If you haven't registered yet, go to newtocoaching.info/vision. And you can register and it sends you the link automatically to those videos. So if you want to catch up that way, so you don't have to have another book added to your plate at the beginning of the school year, you can do that as well. But he has 5 steps that he uses. And so I'm just going to quickly mention them here, and then we're going to get into a few of them tonight. So the first one is state it simply. He talks about having a vision he's talking about an organization, but we're going to talk about coaching. Have a vision, state it simply, cast it convincingly, repeat it regularly, celebrate the vision systematically, and embrace the vision personally. So those are the 5 pieces that we're going to work through together in this book. What we have to think about in this environment and with this idea of cast a vision for coaching is to understand that there are small wins along the way. And we're going to talk a little bit about how do we even know what those wins are? That's once we know what our vision is. But you have to be encouraged in the small wins, friends, because these things can get you to the point where you are feeling lost and confused and find yourself wanting to run back to the classroom. The classroom is a super safe place for you. And I bet you've had that thought, oh, I should go back. I don't really think this is the right decision. I just want to encourage you so much with my whole heart that you have to keep going, friend, because if change is the goal, this is our saying here in the group, if change is the goal, progress is the win. So what we are going to start doing and working together over the next few weeks as we work through this is helping you understand what progress is, how you see it, how you measure it, and how you celebrate it. And so you have to really be encouraged by the fact that small steps towards progress are what ultimately will help you make these changes that you want to make this bigger impact that you want to make. I'm going to help activate your why tonight. We're going to get right into that. I hope that you had a chance to download your workbook. If you did not download the workbook and you want to grab it real quick to put it on your screen while we're talking, you can go here, newtocoaching.info/vision, and then put the number 2. That'll take you to the thank you page for once you've registered for this, and then scroll down a little bit and you'll see download the workbook, okay? Because we're about to hop into that workbook in just a second. So what Andy Stanley talks about in his book, Making Vision Stick, is about having a vision. And what he defines as a vision is this idea of what could be and should be, something that's out there that's way bigger than just like a mission statement. It is something that is what could be and should be, the possibilities that are going to be created because coaching is a part of the school that you're at. And so I was thinking about this because I have myself, and I've even shared with you before, like a little elevator speech, like when somebody says, well, what do you do? And I'm like, okay, well, it's a really hard thing to explain, but let me just tell you that I do one-on-one professional development with teachers. And so it's nice to have an elevator speech to explain to somebody what it is that you do. But casting a vision is a little bit deeper than that. It's a little bit bigger than that. And what it is it really activates your why. And when you are trying to share with your faculty what it is that you do, sharing with them a bigger picture of that why, what could be and should be, because coaching is a part of the school, that is exciting. So we're going to start with activating your why. We're going to talk about why you wanted to become a coach. So let me pop this up here for us. In your workbook, we have this page here. And it says, the question at the top is, why did you say yes to coaching? And identifying your personal why and that impact that you want to make, that deeper impact that you want to make. I want you to answer this question because it's so important. Go ahead and answer it in the comments. Why did you say yes to coaching? And I've talked through this with the group in previous live sessions, but it's the most important question to me is to know your why. Because one of 2 things happened. You either were feeling called out of the classroom, feeling called to something bigger, feeling like you wanted to make a bigger impact. And so you sought that out and you went and looked for that coaching role. Or you were tapped on the shoulder. Somebody said to you, hey, I think you'd do great in this coaching position and we have a position open. Do you want to apply? That tap, tap, tap on the shoulder. And so I want you to think a little bit about that personal why, because when we're thinking about casting a vision for coaching, we really want to anchor to your why, because what happens with this is when you go to share your vision for coaching with your faculty, like in a whole group faculty meeting, you start with your why, because your why becomes the anchor to why you want to work with them, why you are going to be like, it ignites your passion for the work that you want to do with them, which helps them know, like, and trust you. And once they begin to know, like, and trust you, then they will be more open to working with you. And it all comes down to you sharing some of your why. And then we'll also talk about like a vision for coaching. All right, so let's go back to the workbook. So I've got here, clarify your vision. And these are the 4 questions that Andy Stanley talks about in the book. He starts on page 24 and 25 talking through these 4 things. And again, there is that video series. So if you haven't read it and you want to just catch up quickly, you can do that. But basically, these 4 questions are the ones that he says you can use to communicate your vision. And what we are also talking about here is identifying your vision. So the first question on this is, what are the problems that coaching solves? And I think, don't get mistaken by that question and thinking like, not that you would, but the answer is not like it fixes teachers, right? So it's not that it fixes teachers, but like, what problems do your teachers have out there, like real, genuine problems that your teachers are faced with that coaching is a solution to? That's a better way to kind of put this question. We want to figure out how we're going to help people understand our work and what we do. And one way we do that is to understand the problems that people have. Like, what are the problems that teachers have? And then helping them know, oh, that problem right there, I actually can help you with that. That's my job to help you with that. I had this exact conversation with a teacher this week. We're at a very small school. So she is the only 6th grade English teacher. And she said, well, in my old school, I had a partner teacher that I could work with and talk to and converse with and plan with and brainstorm with. And I just don't have that. And that was like a genuine problem that she was expressing to me. And I was like, of course, like giddy inside, because I was like, but that's my job. I get to be your partner. But she hadn't connected the dots quite yet that was something that she was struggling with, not having anyone to brainstorm with, and that I would get to be the partner. I'm their coach. So I got to tell her, I was like, I hate that you don't have that partner, but I love that my job is to be your partner, and I can come and be your partner whenever you need somebody to brainstorm with. And it was an amazing thing to be able to hear her problem and then know that like coaching is a solution to this problem. This is why I'm here, and I can't wait to help you with it. So like, here are some awesome things that are coming up here. Oh, I see it. Providing job embedded professional learning, time and management, teachers working in isolation, lesson planning, absolutely. Student engagement, yes. Effective questioning, providing just-in-time learning, going to be the second pair of eyes in the classroom. They're overwhelmed. Absolutely. So when we are trying to think about this vision and we're trying to craft it, and then we're trying to think about how to communicate it, one of the most important things we need to do is anchor to our teachers and the real problems that they are going to express to us. Because once we know what their problems are, we can help them see how we are a solution. Come and hang out with me and I can help you. And it's not because we can fix everything, and it's not because we're perfect. Like, coaching is not because we are good at it. It's because with a partner, they can do more. And that is a powerful thing for them to learn about. And so in these 4 questions that Andy Stanley has, he talks about like, what is the problem? What is the solution? And then he talks about, well, why do we need that thing? Why do we really need coaching? So these are the 4 questions you can use to think through the problems and the solutions, and then trying to think through what Andy Stanley talks about, which is how to state your vision. Let me go back to this slide. Okay, so in the workbook, I have for you some sample visions. He talks about how you should make this vision portable in the book. And so I pulled for you some business visions just so that you can see some of the wording. And then I gave you some examples of coaching visions that you could pull from, design your own. But once you figure out what your vision is, then you can start to cast that vision and do that in a whole group setting. So I will talk to you a little bit about that. So let me read you some of these. To activate abounding growth and continual learning in teachers, to create a culture of sharing that deepens learning and enhances relationships, to inspire every teacher to desire to learn and grow, to help teachers become the best they can for their students, to equip and empower teachers to reach their personal and professional potential. If coaching was in place in your school for 3 years or 10 years or 5 years or 10 years, what is the change that you're going to see on the other side of that? If you can answer that question, then you have a vision. So let's talk about how you would actually do this vision casting piece. So I have a session that I did for the Simply Coaching Summit a couple of summers ago that is how to introduce yourself to faculty. So if you download the workbook, you can get the link to that, and it's a whole session on these steps for how you do this, how you introduce yourself to faculty. But your first step after you start to figure out that cast a vision for coaching is to think about how you're going to do this vision casting in front of the faculty. Now, it seems kind of scary, but it's truly just an introduction to you, to what coaching is, and then finding how, or taking exit data so that you can see how you might follow up with these these teachers and actually start talking to them one-on-one some more. So that video is available for you. And then I put on this slide in the workbook the different steps that are included in it. As we are looking at this, I do want you to be thinking about this. If you've already cast a vision for coaching, like because you already did your introduction, that is fabulous. But for those of you who have not yet done this, know that you really have a great opportunity to share with your faculty your vision for coaching and a large group setting, and then repeating it in those smaller group settings. So we definitely want to keep an eye out for that opportunity if you haven't done it yet. If you have done it, just know that there's going to be more opportunities for you to do this at another faculty meeting or the next opportunity at the PLC meeting, because people don't remember visions. And so that's what Andy Stanley's whole book is about. Making vision stick is really about making it something that's always coming up, that you're always celebrating, that you're always bringing up. So what you get to do now, Laura, like you asked, is continue to cast the vision as much as possible. So as you're thinking about casting a vision, think about what your vision is, how you want to communicate it, introduce yourself in a large group faculty meeting if you can. It can be a short introduction. Just the other day, I kind of had to do it impromptu on the spot. And that was me just talking about myself, my why, and telling them a little bit about coaching and how coaching happens. I didn't even have my coaching graphic to hand out. So you can find yourself doing this in a lot of different scenarios, whether planned or unplanned. But what the key is for you to know it well enough that you can communicate it at any time, because your clarity means that you can communicate more clearly. All right, friends. So for tonight, we are wrapping up with this. I'm leaving you with casting a vision in your whole group setting, because what we're going to work with next week is the next two pieces of the vision book, which are repeat it regularly and celebrate the vision systematically. And so those two will probably give us some more practical. So if you've already done the whole group, then next week we'll be talking a little bit more about, okay, now we've already done that. How do we do the repeat it regularly and celebrate the vision systematically pieces? But this is an important part of what I want to talk to you about tonight, is that as you step out of the classroom and you step into coaching, is that ultimately, for some reason, and it's kind of a natural reason, it's like, you have a new boss, you have a new principal, you have all these new people around you. You're kind of waiting for them to tell you what coaching is and what you should do. And what we have found here in the New to Coaching group has confirmed it, that it is very unlikely that you are going to get the direction and leadership and guidance that you need to understand your role and to have clarity around your role. And so what I want to encourage you in is the same thing that Andy encourages us in this book, is that it really becomes your responsibility as the coach to identify your vision, to figure out what it is that you're going to do with your work. And when you haven't been given clear direction, to take the reins and own this role and do the work because of your why, because this is a great work for you. And you know that you just came out of the classroom to do this work. You don't want to be sitting in your office. You want to be out there making an impact. And if you feel like you aren't able to do that yet, sometimes it can be real barriers. Some people telling you can't, or some real barriers. But I think we've got to realize that maybe we need to realize, okay, this is because I don't have clarity. I'm not creating enough clarity, and I'm not helping other people understand what my role is. And so vision casting is the key to that. It helps you understand your role clearly and your why clearly, and then start communicating it to whole group scenarios and individual scenarios, so that it becomes clearer across the board what it is that you do, how you help, and why you help. And so we've talked a lot in this group about creating things like a coaching menu or a coaching graphic, and those types of things that can help you create more clarity around your role and what you do. And that's one step in the cast your vision for coaching process, is making sure that you are kind of taking that ownership of being the communicator of what coaching is. We've also found that as much as principals would love to try to communicate well what coaching is, principals come from an administrative background, and they don't always know how to communicate a role of somebody who is going into classrooms and observing, but is not an evaluator. And so it's really important for you to come alongside and own the communication around how coaching is not an evaluative role. And that piece. Okay, I'm going to hop in here because Marilee caught my eye. Thank you for that thought. I feel like I've been creating my job description to accomplish my vision. If you don't have the job description or the vision or all the things that you need to feel like you have clarity, to feel like you know what to do, you will have to take the reins and own that. I have started 3 instructional coaching programs. I've been in independent schools, and we've started from the ground up. So I guess it would be normal that I would create my own job description, but no one has ever given me a job description. I've always had to define the role for everyone else, including the administrators and the teachers. And so that comes to doing things like creating a vision, writing a coaching program document, doing a job description, doing all of these things, and then being the one who holds and is responsible for the vision. One of the other things that happens with this is you're the keeper of it. Not everybody understands it and knows it as well as you do. And so you become the keeper of the vision, and it's your responsibility, as Andy's talking about here, to continue to make sure that coaching is being what it should be according to the vision that you're casting. So just know that this is a part of the process, and it's also a part of a way forward for you. If you're not feeling clarity right now as a coach, doing this work that we're talking about tonight, knowing your why, thinking about your vision, and then finding a way to cast your vision to the faculty, those things are going to help you create clarity. So friends, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm looking